Hi, I'm Gene. You know, my deck was on the back of my house was starting to get kind of old, and instead of replacing it, I wanted to do just kind of a revamp and kind of redo this. So in this video, I'm going to show you how I did that. So let's get started. The old deck is really starting to look rough. It's not holding up very well, and it's over 20 something years old, so the railings all need a new update. So we're going to start that right now. Go too much further with finishing or refinishing and freshening up the deck, I decided the angles that come into my shop, because the shop sits on an angle, I want to trim that out to where they're equal, and then I'm going to remove both stairs on both sides of this and move them to an 8-foot section right in the front. Kind of a and I'm going to pull out any screws that may be a little too close to that. Reuse some of the lumber that I trimmed out of here because, well, I can, but also it'll work out better on the slices because that already has that angle. It's actually a nice day, but it is 94 degrees and high humidity, so I got to kind of work through that a little bit. roughed in, it's good and stable. I've got some cement pavers up underneath that help support this and also keep it directly out of the dirt. It's all salt treated. So now I'm going to take the sander and kind of clean up some of the edges before I start working the rest of the deck into it. So now that I've got the basic steps in, I'm going to move over and get rid of these old steps and kind of revamp some of this crappy looking siding on the side. Next, I'm going to go through here, tighten down some loose boards, and even replace a few boards that have gotten into bad shape. So I'll get started on that now. Well, it started raining, which kind of cools it down a little bit, gives me a break. It's been in the 90s with high humidity today, so out here sweating like crazy. But luckily, I think I have all my boards replaced. And what I really was going to do next is move the rest of the furniture off of it and scrub the thing down and get it ready for restaining. So timing's fine on this. So it's been raining for about the past 2 weeks, making it almost impossible to get back out here on the deck project, but it stopped raining today for a couple hours, so I'm going to take that opportunity to trim some of the side posts down just to clean that up. This look was fine before, but I think I just want something simpler, and I'm going to trim all of these off right here before I stain them. Even though it's not raining, it's supposed to rain later on, and I don't want to have all of these posts outside to get wet. So I'm going to move the project inside where I can, put a coat of solid stain on it and let it dry overnight. So I'll get going. Well, it finally looks like we're going to have some good weather today, so I'm going to use this as an opportunity to sand down and get my solid stain on top of the deck. And Harper's going to help me. We're going to start mixing up the stain, and I'm going to use almost a full gallon of a brown and then a lighter tone that I just had mixed for this one to come up with kind of a lighter stain. Getting this stirred up. So I think that'll lay down nice. Okay, now I am going to, with the help of Harpy, get a little coat of paint on some of these boards. And nobody wants to watch paint dry, so I'm going to speed this camera up. Well, we got this part done. Second coat on, and a little trim color added to the siding. So now we move to the next. So I've picked up some pressure treated lumber to start on my rails, but before I can really do the rails, I need to start reinstalling the uprights for the railing that I have been working on in between the railings. So for securing the cross rails to the posts, I ordered a box of 40 of these post connectors. These should work great for mounting these to the post, and then the 2x4 can rest right in these. I'm also going to need 12 brackets that can handle angles for the rails that go down the steps. So I decided to use the 3D printer. I'm going to be using PETG filament on this, and this is the first time of me using this filament, but they say this holds up outdoors better, so I'm going to try this out. Okay, so here's what I purchased, here's what I made. These are for the angles, so they're open end on this end so that I can plug those in and I'll be able to cut my angles. So now I am going to start putting up the 3-post rail system, and with that I'm using pressure treated 2x4s and then a 1x6 split in half to be the top rail sitting up flush on top. Now I would love to pre-cut all of these and stain them, let those dry and put them up, but to be honest, I'm almost thinking I'm going to have to install them unstained and stain them once they're up here, just because no matter how close I tried to get this, every one of these posts are going to vary just a tiny bit, and they kind of need to be custom cut for each one, and then trying to keep those separated, how to keep them separated, keeping them separated till I can stain them, I don't think it's going to be worth it. So I'm going to do it this way. So I'm thinking maybe 6 inches on the bottom. I'm going to start out and I'm going to look at this at around 6 inches. This is almost 69. I'm going to take 3/8 out of that, so I'm going to say 68 and a half. And I'm going to do 3 of them that way. And then we're going to set the clamp on it and on the mark, and that'll help hold it in place while I level it. And I'll do the same over here. And I also learned that if I put the wider piece of the clamp facing inward. That helps to rest the 2x4s on it. Okay, now that I have the marks on this, I should be able to clamp this down in place where I think it needs to go and use this as my template to cut all 6, 3 for this post and for the other post. Mark this down. Stainless steel deck screws. Okay, I like that. That's going to work out well. So now I've got to rip 4 more decking boards right down the center so that I can make the railing for the rest of this. Now ready to start staining the wood on this. So because I'm having to do it separately or after everything's been stained, I'm going to use some cardboard and just kind of trim this out to make sure that it'll fit and give me a clean start to this. So I'm going to start out by using kind of a semi-transparent stain and just a brush, and I'm gonna have to kind of cut around as much as I can on some of this. Although the good thing is, being semi-transparent, it probably won't show on a lot of the if it hits some of the dark wood. Okay, I think that's all the staining now. It's just time for some cleanup. Hey, thanks a lot for watching. It looks like we're back in the rain, so I'm glad I got it done. If you have any questions or comments, put them in the comment section below. And in the meantime, I'll see you soon.